Guys, I can't tell you what's more blue balls moment than recording 30 minutes of video just to find out it's on a different file, on a crappier file, and that file doesn't work for my laptop. Beyond pissed. But hey, we're gonna run it back. We're gonna do it right. So what's going on, everyone? Hope you guys are having a good one. Hope everything's going well, even though 9 out of 10, hey, I know it's the case. But hey, you gotta keep on thriving, gotta keep on striving, gotta keep on living. Today we are talking about specifically military related stuff. So if you're not in the military, you can still listen to it because you can still learn a lot. But at the same time, this is all for the military folks out there, whatever branch, whatever, country, doesn't really matter because I feel like it all pertains. But we're going to talk about getting into sales while being in the military. Now, obviously, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm doing it in a specific way that's not very, I would say, the best road to take, but it's the road that I choose, and it's the road that, it's ultimately going to get me exactly where I need to be. But if that's being said, we're going to dive into specifics. The number one thing, and we're going to go into specific categories. The number one thing that I realized when diving into something like this, and you having to understand, like, this is the route you want to take, is first your community. Military members as a whole, we work crazy hours. Now, for me, I don't work crazy hours because my job does not allow me to work crazy hours because I'm an admin, so it's completely irrelevant. But for the majority out there, we work incredibly long hours, and especially if we're overseas or if we're in a different country or state, it could be very hard for somebody to actually do the things that they want outside or even pursue anything else once you get home. Because when you get home, dog, you're tired, you're ready to kick it up, play Fortnite, watch Netflix, something like that. You don't really want to do shit. That's where we have to cut that, right? Because the don't really want to do shit and let's go play Fortnite, let's go play Xbox or whatever it is, let's go drink out, with the boys or something like that every single weekend. That's where the lines gotta stop. And with that being said, community, you have to understand, if this is something you want to do, you absolutely cannot just do it for about 30 minutes a day and think it's okay. You can't do it the moment you get off of work and just do it for about a few minutes and think, oh, you're gonna be a millionaire. You have to make the decision on if this is something you actually want to do, because what it's going to bring is long hours. It's going to bring hella long hours. The time that I started to do it, when I fully got invested into it, I had to push a lot of people back. I had to push a lot of people out, I was hanging out with. And another thing, when you're in the military, a lot of people only have those people that they work with. And you work with them so many hours that they're practically your family, just because you see them every day. So it's hard for you to naturally, want to separate from them and not do the things that they're doing, because now you're going to be lonely. Now you're going to be by yourself. Now you're going to feel all this weight, this pressure, like, damn, I'm depressed, because you want to be around people. You want to surround yourself with people. But you have to understand, this sort of career, this lifestyle, especially the lifestyle that we're going to live, it is going to come with a lot. It is going to come with a lot of sacrifices, and you have to be willing to make those sacrifices. So what are those? All right, you're gonna have to obviously leave those people that are in your circle. Obviously keep them, but at the same time, you're gonna have to start mitigating times you hang out with them, the times you do specific things with them, the times all this. Because if you think about it like this, right, you go to work and you listen to your boss, you listen to your supervisor. Your supervisor tells you get in a little bit earlier for PT, you get in earlier for PT. Your supervisor tells you go do this, you do this. Your supervisor, all this stuff. But if you tell yourself one thing to specifically do after work, you usually don't do it. Especially if it's a mundane task, if it's hard, but it's going to be good for you. You don't do it. It's just how it is. And it's understanding the self-respect that you have in yourself to do that. You have to have the self-respect. And that's hard to learn while you're in the military, because you are so fixated on this. My nose is messed up, but you're so fixated on this idea that, I just got to do this job and I'm going to get out, right? And then maybe your habits at that job aren't going to be good because you don't care about the job, so you're not going to put any work or effort into it. But at the same time, it's going to compound to what you actually want to do, because when you get off of work, you're going to use the habits that you learned in that job, and it's going to translate over to what you actually want to do. So whether you want to be a content creator, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to post, when I got off of work, and then I'm going to record another thing. You go off of work, you're tired, you're like, we'll do it tomorrow. But God forbid you told any of your senior NCOs, any of your whatever it is, your leadership, that there was a task that was specifically due today, and it's an easy task, but you're just like, nah, Commander, I'm going to do it tomorrow. It's just not going to happen today. Like, how does that make sense? that's the mindset that you have to start changing over time. And that's comes down to obviously the people that you're around, and it's hard. How do you find other people that you want to be like in an environment that you are so stuck with people that are just locally around you, and how to do that, right? So it comes down to this. I was a part of a affinity sales training group. It was an incredible group, and it taught me so much. And I basically used the community in that group, and I slowly started assimilating to them more, and I started pushing away the other people that weren't, kind of in that space. You have to understand, when you're taking this jump, you're gonna lose people. It's just how it is, and it's a sad truth. But there shouldn't be no disrespect. They're gonna be doing their lives. You're gonna do your life. And this is another specific thing we're gonna talk about, which is belief, and that's gonna be tied to that. But you have to understand, like, when you do that big jump and you're gonna move away, you have to start doing the things that are in those groups. With that group that I was a part of, I learned so much just about everything there is to know about sales. And the people there, I saw them winning every day. They're outside of the military, but they're absolutely killing it. They're making crazy money, and I'm just like, it opens your mind to how much money there actually is out there in the world. So then, what also hurts is when you get back into the job and you're only making 1,000, every 2 weeks, and you see so-and-so just made 1,000 in 2 days. Like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to obviously the community around. And I'm also part of, I also created an accountability group. And that's something that I've been working alongside with somebody else's in the military. And like I said, it's an incredible group, and it's something that you can join, and you can just be around with like-minded people, and you can constantly show up every single day, and we'll always be doing stuff. But it's something that I also made because of that reason. A lot of military members, they don't have people to go to outside, so they only stick to the people that's around them. All right. Now, belief is a huge thing, because a lot of y'all want to be, TikTokers, fucking YouTubers, stuff like that. And it comes down to this, right? If you don't believe that if you have like the slightest bit of belief on a big idea that you have, you're not going to achieve it. It's just how it is. How do you build that belief? You're like, Mendoza, how do I actually build a belief system then? It comes from this, right? You have to start getting rid of those habits that clearly don't serve you. Playing on the Xbox, talking to those specific people, going out to drink every weekend, eating junk food, eating all this extra stuff, shitting and playing on, on your phone, all that stuff, doom scrolling when you're at work. You have to start getting rid of those tiny habits. And what that does is it compounds into a belief structure. So those small wins, you'll start believing in yourself a lot more. It'll start adding up. And I promise you, it doesn't sound right now, but I promise you, if you keep that consistency, if you start getting rid of those things, and obviously treat yourself here and there, but if you start getting rid of those things, your brain's going to start picking up the habits, and then it'll be like, okay, we don't do this anymore. We don't assimilate to ourselves with that anymore. And with belief structure in the military, we get taught so much about just do your job, don't mentally think about anything really. It's senior NCO's job to really think about high, big things. You don't really need to understand the big picture. You just have to know how to do your job. Mundane tasks, just do it. Whereas this, you're going to have to start thinking critically. It is so funny when you have a military person kind of come in, especially like in different jobs, and a lot of times you don't have to think critically, and so you can tell with those people, but you have to think critically with this. Sales is something that you're literally playing chess with your client. You're playing chess because things that you're saying lead to a counter offer after that. So the objections, it's like somebody, you're having a conversation with somebody, you're trying to get to an end goal result. You're gonna have to say specific things to get you to that result. So you have to think critically. And that's part of the reason a lot of people in the military might not have a hard time with. And it took me a while, because I used to think, just go through the ropes, just go through it, don't think about it, just keep on calling people, keep on dialing. And that's not how it works. You have to think critically. When they say specific things, call it out. So the reason why I say that is because belief stems with thinking critically. You have to start changing the way you think. And how do you do that? It starts by being around those right people. And all this is a yin and yang thing. It's tied to community. It's tied to belief. The biggest thing I'd say too is, especially while you're in, record yourself talking about your future self, as in right now. So say, as an example, Mendoza in November is going to own 2 different companies based from media as well as consulting. They're going to absolutely take over Tampa as a whole. Mendoza's name will be a household name in Tampa. Everybody will know Mendoza. Everyone knows Mendoza's morals, Mendoza's belief structure, and what he's done. He's helped hundreds of thousands of people out in the Tampa Bay area. He's helped impoverished areas get the accountability partners they need to absolutely change their entire life and set the foundation for their future. Mendoza believes in these core values, and the only reason why he believes in these core values is because of XYZ. Mendoza, and over time, will be one of the greatest known, something like that. Record yourself say it, and then when you wake up in the morning, play it. That is the first thing that you should do. When you wake up in the morning, you play it out. You play it out loud, you hear it, you feel it, you feel everything in it, right? What this does is it programs your brain, it brings prompters into your brain to believe exactly what you want out of your future self, because your future self has all the answers. So if you constantly look out to your future self and get to the point where you see your future self and you see it so detailed. So I'm talking like this, right? If you want to be very successful, you want to get to wherever you want to get to, say you want to have $1 million. Think about what would a millionaire probably be doing on his day-to-day basis, and then picture yourself in that millionaire's role. Millionaire's probably getting up, he's probably hopping on some conference calls with some clients, he's probably also working with the marketing team to get something going, something like that, or the moment that you actually do achieve $1 million or something in your profit. What is the feeling of that? What is the day? What does it look like? How does it feel? How does everything look, sound, touch, everything? Get to that detailed sort of look, and I promise you, it'll be 10 times better. So belief is huge. And if you want specific help, send me a DM, send me an email, send me whatever you can. Give me a call. I promise you, this is something I definitely want to help out as much military members as possible, because it changed the trajectory of my life. And including when you go to bed, play that when you go to bed. Because what you're doing is, for those 7 hours of time that you are absolutely on autopilot mode, the last thought that you thought of is what you played. So that's marinating for 6 hours of your sleep process, and it's going to root into your subconscious, and your subconscious is going to start thinking differently. Because think about it, throughout this entirety of time that you're in the military, even when you started with life, you've been taught all these habits, you've been taught all these structures, and that been 18 years of your life has been ingrained based off of whatever you learned. Now you have to unlearn some things, and you're basically a child, you're basically a baby. Truth be told, one of my friends said this, truth be told, I was born. I was born once or something like that. Anyway, it's definitely doable. There's just a lot of factors. You have to accept the fact that you are going to have some heads turn, and you're going to have some positives. You have to understand that you're going to have the positives, you're going to have the negatives. Are you willing to sacrifice those negatives to get there? And are you willing to kind of go in blindly, knowing that you will actually get something out of it, rather than being like, I don't even think I can make money off of this, like, how can I actually do this, So I definitely recommend for military members, if you want to hit me up asking any questions, by all means, we definitely run the time up. But there's other factors that I'm going to dive into next week. But aside from that, on top of world boundaries still don't exist, the bottom of death, so life still lives. Do you dare to dream? As a matter of fact, do you dare to take the next step? See y'all later.